Sophie, thank you so much for these wonderful, Christian, what would you want to call them?
Jankets. Jacket blankets.
These are awesome. We just want to thank Sophie for sending these to us. She did it as a Christmas gift.
That was awesome.
And
there's a story behind that.
Yeah, we might go into it a little bit, but long story short, these past 4 podcasts that you guys have seen have actually been pre-recorded because Christian had to go down to Santa Barbara.
Yes.
So this is actually the first time that we're in front of the camera after Christmas, and it's super awesome. So thank you,
We're
Sophie.
Back together.
We appreciate you.
These make me feel happy for once.
Yeah, and we just want to say, everyone who watches us, go to Instagram, support Sophie. Her Instagram will be in the description of this video.
She has a business.
Show her some love. All right.
Of something.
So,
show her love. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophie. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Art of Awesomeness podcast. I'm your host, Adrian Kiswani, accompanied today by our also host, Christian Caito. Welcome,
That's
Christian.
Me. Thank you so much.
This is episode 15.
15. Oh,
Bro,
yeah.
we're getting close, man.
To the end of the season.
To the end of everything. We're going to just delete the channel, delete all
Start
the Spotify.
all over again from the beginning.
Restart. It's a game.
We're
But,
still
yeah. We before we could go into this, what I think is a pretty good podcast episode.
We have something very good for you guys.
We got the first order of business, guys. So, first of all, we should probably say we did record the intro to this already, but we found out that Christian was actually one who pointed out that it wasn't recording
the audio. The video was recording.
So that stuff kind of happens.
Things
so some of these are crossed out, but we're gonna do it anyways because we care. So first of all, we got Popeye Day, not to be confused with Popeyes.
The chicken.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it would say Popeyes.
Louisiana finest.
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah.
There's 2. For those, I kind of blew my mind that I just realized there's 2 themes for that. It's Louisiana finest or Love That Chicken from Popeyes. I didn't know there was 2. So
remember that lady who used to do all the commercials for it?
The black lady?
Yeah, but what?
I don't know why I was so.
We have to specify.
African American lady.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Has she ever been to Africa? She's probably just American.
Okay, I don't, because I'm scared. Okay, honestly, if I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm scared. I was going to say black lady, but I was going to say that so quickly that I didn't know if that was the right thing to say, if I should say that or African American. Because that's still a gray area that I don't like when, because that's them.
Well, I mean.
That lady, this is getting bad. Anyway, I'm sorry. That lady.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But yeah, pretty much. Christian had like a bit of an oops moment. That was awesome. But yeah, you were teaching me, I remember a while ago, that instead of, like, if you're really from Louisiana, you don't say New Orleans, you say Nolans.
That's the
proper way to say it. Where'd you learn that?
My grandpa, who's funny enough, like, the whitest guy,
Wait, is he white or is he white?
Yeah.
Is he like the white?
Yeah. With the H. Yeah, but he's been down there. He's lived there for a few years when my mom used to live there. Mm-hmm. And I think they just picked it up because they knew a lot of people. And he just said, no, why are you saying New Orleans? It's
Nolans down here.
If you're natural, it's New Orleans to New Orleans to Nolans. It just flows.
It's sort of like I learned that it's in Atlanta. It's not Atlanta. It's Atlanta.
Atlanta.
You know, like you don't really pronounce the T part. Heck, hard to say. Atlanta. So
Atlanta.
Yeah, I guess wherever you are, you're gonna have your own slang.
Yeah,
no matter what. That's pretty cool.
Our Popeye Day.
Day, we got Benjamin Franklin's birthday. Now, I did a bit of research into this, and apparently his birthday was actually. Well, if you were to look at his birthday certificate, it would say January 6th. But because calendars change and do their thing, it ended up being on January 17th. I'm not really the best person to explain it, but if you want to look further into it, I thought it was kind of interesting the way that sort of changed.
Messing it up.
You know, happens. So, yeah, happy birthday, Ben Franklin. So now we have World Religion Day. So World Religion Day, pretty much, if you're religious,
Happy
world. Yeah, I don't know.
We don't know if it's between the world is religion or like all the religions in the world.
Yeah. So
I think it's the Earth one.
I guess you think it's the Earth one?
I think it's the Earth one. Like the world is your religion.
Got
like
it.
Earth Day, but more religious.
Weird. All right. Well, then right after World Religion Day, we have World Snow Day.
Snow Day.
Which is kind of weird because if you just look at the globe as it is, there are some places where it just doesn't snow. You know?
Like here.
So it's like weird to have like World Snow Day if it doesn't snow everywhere in the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think we can vouch for that because
Yeah.
it never snows in Mountain House.
No, it doesn't. But remember
Never
that
snows.
one time we were in high school and like the hills that are kind of like that we
Oh,
could see from the high
near
school.
windmills.
Yeah, there was some snow that one time, or at
It
least
just
frost.
never
It
got
was-
close enough.
Never got
The
close
day where
enough.
it snows in Mountain House is
The day I leave because the weather here is too intense,
it's
bro.
too crazy. I love that though. Snowman in my front yard.
I remember when we first moved here, our first Christmas here, because we didn't have snow. I mean, we didn't have snow at the previous place I lived, but I was always sort of interested in like making a snowman. So we have tumbleweeds here. So me and my dad, we literally went out to go get like tumbleweeds and made like a tumbleweed snowman. That was.
You never told me that.
Yeah, really. Yeah, that was something that we did. So. Hey,
I was just for a minute. I was just picturing tumbleweed snowman in my head before I reacted.
yeah, it's like how like tumbleweed. So we got like a big tumbleweed, a medium tumbleweed, small
So
one.
different various sizes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you just made a snowman out
Yeah,
of it.
you got to improvise. If we found
Hey,
out I
that's
fell over,
that's
but
the move. That's
That-
what Christmas is all about.
you got to make sure that you celebrate somehow. But yeah, those are the national days. So
Yep.
celebrate those national days if you want. But now we're gonna get into the meat of things, which
The
is
meat,
the main course. You know what I'm saying?
which is
Comfort zones. Not only comfort zones in general, but also how to get out of your comfort zone and the benefits of doing
that's right.
so.
What they are. We're gonna
Yeah.
give you some examples
Yeah.
to kind of relate to that. Not only those two things, but what we learned and the benefits of them. But we're not just gonna leave you with that.
Oh.
No. We're gonna leave you with how to get out of it and little ways you can do that. It's not always a big, it's not always a big thing like jumping off a cliff.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like this huge grandiose thing, but
No,
just doing
chunks.
things in your life to get out of your comfort zone, they can help you in the long run. It's
Yeah.
sort of like you don't have to do this big thing every once in a while.
Right.
You can do minor things like constantly that will kind of build up over time to make you into a more adept person,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much. And yeah, so first of all, what we're going to talk about. This is where the audio was not recording last time.
So we're all
So,
caught up now.
Yeah, we're up to speed. But pretty much what we're going to talk about in the beginning is sort of how we start off most podcasts on these topics, is how to define your comfort zone. And obviously, I'm sure that there's probably a Google definition out there somewhere.
A real set definition.
Yeah, but what
This is
we're
our
going to be
definition.
talking about for the purposes of this podcast and for the purposes of this one session is pretty much anything that you would consider normal or not out of the ordinary. Anything that's habitual, anything that you would do on your day-to-day, things that you don't deviate from, right? That's going to be your comfort zone, wherever you don't feel a sense of anxiety, wherever you don't feel a sense of discomfort.
Yeah.
You know,
Discomfort. Yeah.
Pretty much anywhere where you, as the name implies, your comfort zone, where you're comfortable, where you're at ease, you're relaxed, and
Yeah. You're not.
that's what. Yeah,
You're not challenged in your comfort zone. We learned a lot.
That's
about
good,
this
you're not
insight.
challenged,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're not challenging yourself. You don't grow that much.
Mhm.
You're going. I mean, don't grow at all. Or grow very well. At
Yeah.
least when you're in comfort zone, you don't. All these things. It's best. It's funny that you say this because my mom and I. She'll know this when she's watching this, but we were. I think it was this morning. We were listening to this broadcast, or she was telling me about this article by a college student about comfort zones. Or no, not comfort zones, complaining, which will be the other one.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
this
yeah,
other
yeah.
one, comfort zones. I don't know where I heard it. Maybe it was from my mom. Sorry, mom. I'm a guy. I don't pay attention.
That's
But
facts.
she was saying, or someone was saying, of how comfort zones. It's not always a grand gesture, like what we just said.
Yeah,
It's not always a grand gesture, but it's always sometimes just about little things that switch up the routine. Because in doing these small things, it's really you really gain a new sense for a new intention and purpose for not taking anything for granted what you have on a daily basis. And these things are like we're about to share some of our examples now that we kind of defined it.
yeah. We got a bit of an outline to help us along here, but I mean, in essence, when you're in your comfort zone, like Christian said, you're not going to be challenged, and it's sort of the same idea as you grow the most in the kind of the worst seasons in your life.
Yeah.
You know, when things are really hard, that's when the most growth
That's
is
when
happening.
the real you shines.
So, I mean, just, you know, juxtaposed to that, when you're in your comfort zone, when everything is good, when everything is nice, you're not growing that much because there's nothing to challenge you to grow any further.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that is definitely something to, you know, keep in mind as we go forward here.
Yeah.
But as far as the comfort zone and what it entails, there are some limitations to being in the comfort zone. I would consider the comfort zone being sort of like a handicapped region.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
After a certain time,
periodically you're sort of setting yourself behind other people. Now, this is not to say that you need to necessarily introduce high levels of unhappiness or pain in your life, because generally speaking, that'll happen on its own. But you should be striving to challenge yourself in a number of ways that are, you know, that you know they're most likely going to have a positive effect in the long term. Mm-hmm. Right. So, you know, maybe you're not an avid reader, you know, maybe you don't read that much. So maybe reading wouldn't be in your comfort zone. You're not really one to pick up large books. Maybe you're more of a comic reader, or you just don't read books at all. Reading a book, or, you know, picking up a big one, I mean, you know, like this, for example, that can be a bit intimidating.
Start with this. Yeah. The big,
right?
the book.
That can be a bit intimidating, and that can probably be a little bit out of your comfort zone, right? But at the end of it, it's going to make you a more knowledgeable individual,
more expendable,
right? And you're gonna have more knowledge than you did before, and you're probably gonna have more skills. You're probably gonna learn more about reading, time management, all these things that kind of fuse together with one singular thing.
Yeah.
So I would say that someone who doesn't do that, right? Someone who chooses to stay in their comfort zone, someone who doesn't choose to challenge themselves, is actually doing themselves a disservice, because they're setting themselves behind other people who are challenging themselves and who are trying to push themselves forward to new heights, new limits, for example. So that's like the first analogy that comes to my head when I'm thinking about this sort of thing. I don't know about you. Like what kind of comes to your head when you're trying to like push someone?
To piggyback off of what you said.
Yeah.
And then before we go into examples, because you did, that was good. I think applying a comic book idea to people our age. Who has?
Hey, don't get me wrong. I like Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah.
You know.
Calvin and Hobbes, dude. Middle school was.
Dude, that is. I have the laziest Sunday book of that, man.
Calvin and Hobbes is a comic book. If you don't know that.
If you don't know that, I mean, just what's wrong with you?
Let's get off.
Just leave.
Adrian, like to bounce off what you said. That's as this kind of transitions into going into examples.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
How do I put this? When you, like, I'm just going to use another example.
Yeah.
Like, say, this can really apply for anything. I'll get to it's like, say you're maybe like new in high school. For those of you that are entering high school or college.
Yeah.
And under normal circumstances, you know, you're out on campus and it's a lot of new people. And typically for me, I think that for me, just to make it more personal, my comfort zone immediately would just be like to not talk to anybody,
right? And
just stay in my dorm. And I talk to my roommate because that's, you know, he's the first I have to talk to him. But other than that, no connection.
Your Italian roommate, right?
My Italian roommate, of course. And I wouldn't make any other connection because I'm afraid to reach out or, you know, be rejected or things like that. But there's two advantages to branching out, and this applies to anything. When you branch out of your comfort zone, the first thing that you'll notice when you get out of there, and we'll talk about this more, but we're kind of setting it up to show you an example. When you first get out, and we'll talk about it, is you gain knowledge of whatever it is. Instead of having it visualizing in your head and reoccurring a scene of how it might play out, you could go out and start off even with a small group of friends. I'm just going to apply this to my analogy. Yeah. And, you know, just keep trying some new friends and seeing how it goes and get to know them a little bit better. And once you hang out with them a bit more, instead of beforehand when you were not able to hang out with them, or you put that limit on yourself that you cannot hang out with them, now you're like, okay, well, these, you know, wasn't that bad. You know, I got to know them. This guy was pretty cool. Maybe this guy or girl wasn't, you know, I didn't really vibe with them too much. But now that you've been with them or you've had that kind of small experience, I'm not saying go out and make an announcement at lunch like, hey, guys, wants to be my friend?
Yeah.
But just starting off small, like with people just walking by and it's like, hey, I'm new here, or I've seen you around, and you know we have the same class or something like that. But starting off small, and you kind of build those
especially
steps.
if you're not an avid person who pushes yourself out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
It would probably turn you off to the idea if you started out something big and then something bad happened. So for those who maybe are trying to push themselves but are still a bit worried about it, a good idea would probably be to put yourself out there in a low risk environment, where even if maybe it doesn't fall through all the way, you're not losing that much or anything like that. But what it's also going to teach you is your own limitations. You're going to learn what makes you comfortable and what doesn't. You're going to kind of learn what makes you tick and what doesn't. You're probably going to find out a little bit more about yourself if you're constantly, putting yourself in challenging situations, right? Because, as we kind of said earlier, when you're challenged, that's when the real you comes out. So when the real you comes out, that's the opportunity you have to evaluate your true self, and see where you're at and how you can improve, right? Because it's hard to improve on yourself if you don't even know your shortcomings, right? So knowing your shortcomings first and foremost right off the bat, and knowing what makes you uncomfortable and what doesn't, that's going to be a huge help right in the beginning, right? So you want to make sure that you're taking that into consideration, and kind of like you said with making friends and stuff like that, that's kind of appeal to our demographic here, because we were looking at it, and it's mostly teenagers, people in their early 20s, and then I don't know. I think that was most of it.
Our demographic majority, like high school, college.
Yeah. So, for people in that situation, your biggest, life problems at our stage really aren't that high as maybe they would be, later in life. So a common one would probably be something like Christian said, making friends, or public speaking. I know is a big one. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, so, there's did you hear that? There's a statistic or something where people are more afraid of public speaking than dying.
Yeah, that blew me away actually.
Yeah, that's pretty weird.
I couldn't believe that. But it's weird because what is the turnoff of public speaking?
Yeah, well, it's
because we do this now for a hobby, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, in front of a camera.
In front of a camera, but you can. You can sort of imagine the difference between something like this and, in real life. But even doing something like this is sort of stepping yourself out of the comfort zone. We were just talking about how far we've kind of come from our first episode. We were looking back at some earlier episodes and kind of how uncomfortable we were. And now going to here now, seeing kind of how we interact and so forth, you can see that we stepped out of our comfort zone. And now we're kind of getting more into the groove, and obviously there are always going to be obstacles that come up.
At the beginning, we weren't recording. Yeah,
that you're going to have to face, technical difficulties, all that stuff. That can bring you down, but you got to learn how to bounce back. And before we go into a few more things, kind of about comfort zones, we do have a quick intermission for you. So enjoy this intermission. We'll be right back. It's what you would consider average, normal, not really anything deviant to what you would do on a day-to-day basis. That's kind of what we're going to be. We weren't
Dude, I was looking at it. It wasn't even going.
Did it process in your head?
I was looking at it. I was like, it's beeping, but something's missing. It's not showing red.
Dude, that is hilarious.
That's funny, man. All right,
welcome back, everyone. We hope that you enjoyed that intermission. Right now, we're going to be talking about probably the biggest example that we've both faced as far as getting out of your comfort zone, and that is, in our experience, infamously track. Track and field in freshman year of high school. It was weird because it was only a season, but I feel like it left such an impact. We talk about it so often. I feel like track. Whenever you talk about high school, it's like, one of the first things that you kind of draws your attention is our time in track.
Yeah.
But it was a beneficial time, retrospectively. But I think in the moment, at the time,
which one?
It was a bit different.
The whole time?
Yeah, during track.
Yeah.
After track, I think we had a better appreciation for it. But I think while we were in it,
I think it was fun.
It was a bit different.
It started. We were just talking before we were recording this.
Yeah.
So you want me to go first? Or you want to go first?
Yeah, I guess if you want to talk about kind of why we.
So yeah,
Joined
it was freshman year, and I was telling Adrian, now's our chance.
Yeah.
I was looking at the trophy. There's no trophies in the trophy case because we were nothing. We're nothing.
Yeah.
But we kind of made something of ourselves now.
Yeah, kind of.
I was like, dude, this is our chance to do something big and be like the cool kids
Yeah.
at school. This is our way to do it. It's just running.
We saw it as like our big break or something like that.
It's just running. It's nothing complicated. Just run. And then
boy.
I joined. I knew I was gonna join.
Run, Forrest, run.
I knew I was gonna join, but I don't know if I said anything to you about it. I knew I was set on joining though.
Yeah.
I don't know. Remember if you were?
I was set on joining because I've always sort of looked at Christian like an older brother figure. Like I look up to him sort of like a younger brother would to an older brother because I don't have one. So whenever Christian would do something, and his mind would be set on it, I'd be like, oh shoot, like that's got to be cool if Christian's doing it, right?
So it has to be cool. It has to be cool.
So like that was, I'm not saying that's the best mentality to have, but that was my mentality.
Mentality.
So when he joined track, I remember I was a bit nervous about it, but because I had never really done sports before.
Yeah.
I enjoyed running because I would run a lot during recess and stuff. When we weren't filming, in the science lab, I'd probably be out getting chased by people. That was
your thing.
Yeah, but
Jeez, baby.
no, really, you remember they used to freaking kick me in the shins and everything. Yeah. But so track was an intimidating idea, but at the same time it was kind of attractive because you're thinking you get to wear a uniform and stuff like that. You get to be kind of part of a team camaraderie,
Yeah.
And so like there's that aspect of it that's kind of like, oh, like if you're an outcast, come to track, because there's sort of like this ongoing joke amongst track people that like if you're in track it's because you failed football and basketball tryouts.
Yeah.
Like if you're in track it's because it's the only thing you get into. Track was like the main thing. Like we didn't really have any interest in football or basketball, so it was kind of weird going into that.
Yeah, just racing people.
But I mean, I remember like the first week of conditioning was like it just sucked. It was rough
because we
got our.
What made it bearable was that there were kids there, friends of ours that just made it.
I just remember what kept me going was that there was this one kid who looked way more in shape than I did, and he was throwing up. And so I was like, "Oh, what? He's throwing." I was like, "I'm fine."
Don't do that.
I was like, "I'm fine then." So then,
I remember that you had to keep running even if you threw up.
Yeah. That was kind of part of it. And so, afterwards, once you're kind of done with the training and everyone's sort of getting by their backpacks and stuff again, drinking water, and I remember I'd always have like these Nature Valley bars hand out to everybody.
He was a nature man.
Jamil would be playing his guitar and
we all had
like
a
that.
thing.
We all had like it was like a big group of friends, and so it was something that was uncomfortable to experience at first. It was definitely a shock to the system, I guess, but it was beneficial in the end because as hard as it was in the moment, we look back on it with fondness, I'd say. And that's an interesting thing because a lot of the things that are kind of bad in the moment, you look back on and you kind of laugh about, I've like noticed that, it's just,
I mean at the time it's like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah.
But then not only do you get another memory off it, but you kind of you grew a little bit that you did not see at the moment.
Yeah.
Looking backwards you can see it, but looking forward at the time it was hard to see. Like I think the thing that made, if we're talking about comfort zones, was I think there were times, and even this year too, when we were doing conditioning, it was comfortable because it's like it's just conditioning. It's not a race or anything. Oh,
but the races were a whole other thing.
Right before you went onto the block, that was a whole other thing,
dude.
When you went onto the blocks, it was extremely uncomfortable because you're like, man, maybe because if you really
feel sick, you honestly feel sick.
If you really wanted to, you could find someone to trade out with you, but after a certain amount of times, your coach would just be like, stop, cut the BS, just do the race. And
the hard thing is that the track was, or at least our track team was so like massive. It was easily over 70 people.
It's way bigger. It was way bigger as it came by.
Oh yeah.
Let's make yeah.
And it was just so big that they had to split it, right? From the people who like could still train, they could be part of the track team, and then the people who actually had to go and compete because they were better. We ended up being on the competing side, which I remember at the time we weren't too happy about because we liked training, we liked all
we just
the
want to
exercising
train.
with stuff. Like I remember one time we were practicing like the baton pass with like a water bottle. You know, and
that was out of our comfort zone. That was out of my comfort zone because
Yeah.
it was a water bottle. Everyone was watching us.
Yeah, but just I don't know. Sometimes being forced out of your comfort zone also, you know, not just you putting yourself out there, but being forced out of the comfort zone is way different.
Yeah,
you know, because it's like it's one thing if you're like, you know what, I'm gonna try and do this thing, I'm gonna sign up for this, and
it's different when someone puts you in it and you don't have a choice.
You don't have any control over it. It's a different thing, and I would say that's still beneficial, but in the moment, it's definitely gonna be harder.
It's like, dang, this sucks.
Yeah, because like, did you ever remember like seeing in your inbox, you know?
Oh,
that you were on,
yeah.
you know,
he's just who's gonna run the race,
and you see yourself like in the slot,
like
there.
weekend races, and
man.
You're scrolling down. As you're scrolling down, you're
like,
hoping
please
that
not
you
me,
don't,
please
like,
not me.
no name. But you know, it's cool because I think I'm grateful for the experience. Cause
for sure.
If I didn't have those experiences where I went up to the blocks and my heart almost just fell out of my chest,
for real,
like almost every race, I think I wouldn't have had that experience for things that would be way scarier in the future that I'd be dealing with. So I think having that kind of headspace where I'm in a situation where now I can look back and see, well, this is similar because in the future something's going to be way bigger, with the stakes are going to be way higher, where I'm going to be on the blocks per se, and I have to learn how to keep my cool. And so I didn't see at the time, but I was way out of my comfort zone. But what I took away from that was that being way out of my comfort zone, you kind of push, in the circle of your comfort zone, you kind of push the perimeter a bit further.
Yeah.
You push it a bit further of what you think you can handle after a few times.
So like if your comfort zone is like here, the more you put yourself out of the comfort zone,
I'll be your outer comfort zone.
Yeah, your
comfort zone,
yeah,
and then
your main comfort zone will grow closer to that.
Yeah,
so you become more and more. That was a really weird diagram, but you'll become more accustomed to putting yourself in more like vulnerable situations.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's the right word, but that's what came to mind. And you'll be more capable, I think, and you'll find that you yourself can probably take a lot more than you think you can. I remember thinking that I couldn't run a race, because it was just, you're waiting, like you said, you're just waiting on the blocks, waiting for the gun to go off, and you're just sort of, it's a nerve-wracking thing, because a lot of these kids that, a lot of these competitors that you're surrounded by, you don't know them, you don't know their capabilities. So you're just hoping that they
suck.
Yeah, you're hoping one that they suck and that you're just Usain Bolt. But what it also taught me is that track in specific it taught me that like there really is sort of a risk reward factor, or a work input and output. If that makes any sense. Like if you want to get better in track, there's no shortcuts really. The only option is to work harder. That's all you got.
Yeah, there's no, unless you take like enhancements and drugs and stuff. But
but that's not
ethically
allowed, right? So I mean,
the right thing.
you're sort of put in a situation where there's this obvious point of like, I should attain to this, I should be here, and you're at the bottom, almost like there's this mountain and like that's the top, that's the goal, you're right here. There's no like shortcut up the mountain. You're just gonna have to go for it.
You just have to go up the mountain. There's no elevator to success.
So, and it's like stairs. It's the same thing with public speaking. You can't cheat at that really. It's the most pure. Like you're just gonna be standing there, and you're gonna be in front of a bunch of people. There's nothing you can do to like change that. So
like close your eyes.
Imagine they're all naked or something like that. That never worked for me.
Nah, that would just make me laugh. Like ha ha.
I'd be like when you imagine someone, you're like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Are we gonna put a picture on the screen of a stadium full of naked people?
I think we get
good idea. Let's do that. We're gonna do that right now.
All right, naked people.
Okay. It was like a quick photo.
Yeah.
Of it.
You know what I'm probably gonna put?
What?
Just Benjamin Franklin's face.
Naked Benjamin Franklin.
Or Mussolini. I don't know. We're weird. But look, pretty much what we're trying to say is that track was a difficult experience at the time, but we learned a lot from it. Essentially that comfort zone, getting out of it, that's what's going to lead you into I think what's really non-arguably a better space. I don't think there's any way around that.
Do we want it before we... Oh, is that kind of with benefits, huh? I was going to ask if are there any other examples of times where you're out of your comfort zone? Because that was just
other than out of the comfort zone. I think probably one of the ones that again we both went through was in Mr. Shapsis's English class, the speeches.
Oh,
that I remember being pretty stressed about that.
The senior year one. Oh yeah, that was.
Yeah. That speech in specific was the only time that I got up in front of a group of people, and I was really nervous.
You want to tell them what the speeches was?
Yeah, right. So we had, just to give you a quick rundown, what we had to do was create. Was it persuasive or argumentative?
I think argumentative. That sounds like something an English teacher would do.
Right.
Argumentative.
And we had to do one of those speeches, and on any topic that we chose using ethos, pathos, logos. So, which was essentially 1, using logic, 2, using kind of presenting yourself as someone who like knows something on the subject.
Like, I can trust me, and then emotion,
right? Appealing to their feelings about a certain matter. My specific topic was the dangers of relativism and that there is truth, because that was a big topic in the class. A big theme was that, what is truth? There might not be truth. I'm a firm believer that there is, and that relativism in all of its forms are pretty harmful to society. So that's what I did my speech on. That's what I wrote it up. I memorized it. And I remember walking up there with the sheet of paper and not really using it once I got up.
Oh yeah,
you
just went because it was
you just sort of went for it. And I think it was at that moment that I learned that when you push yourself out of your comfort zone, you're able to, I don't know what it is, but it's almost like you have some like reserves of like knowledge that just kind of come out when your body knows that
you're here.
When you're in the moment. It's almost like
it is happening.
It's similar to track. We have this thing in track where when you're running like the 800, which is one of our events, you have to run for a little while. Mm-hmm. And what they say is, and what we experience is, you have to get yourself up to like a certain takeoff speed, so you have to like ramp up to a certain speed, but then there's a certain point where you're kind of your body kind of goes in cruise control. And I've noticed this whenever I go on like a run around the creek or something like that, is that there comes a certain point where I'm not actually trying to run anymore.
It's just automatic.
My body's just doing the thing.
An automatic response. When you're like,
so it's similar to that. When I was giving that speech, whenever I practice, I'd be looking at this paper, but eventually, like, I just sort of it just went off, and I gave the whole speech right, and what was difficult because it was in a time limit.
Yeah,
it was time
So that was the struggle if you guys had
so I remember
words to say.
I remember my original speech was like 17 minutes long, and it had to be like 5 or something. So I had to cut down a lot. And so being able to do that, stepping out of the comfort zone, but then also achieving success out of the comfort zone, that'll make you comfortable outside your comfort zone. I mean, when you are outside your comfort zone and you succeed, I mean, that's kind of a feeling like no other, I think.
Yeah.
Because when you're in your comfort zone and you do something right, it's nothing special.
It's you knew you could do it. But when you're out of your comfort zone, you're like, you're risking it. So that's the best part. It can go well. And I'm going to just say, even if it doesn't go well,
you learn.
Yeah, you gain experience. Experience is either way.
Get that sweet XP.
Yeah. What is that XP? Like, that's in games, right?
Yeah, Minecraft.
XP. Minecraft is a video game.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Anyways, this takes a turn. We just start talking about Minecraft for...
Yeah, let's talk about Minecraft now. I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Listen,
let's talk
guys,
about Minecraft.
Minecraft is the best game ever made. All right.
Besides for
It
Club Penguin,
has
Pop Tropica, Lego Indiana Jones.
Lego Indiana Jones is up there with Minecraft. I don't think
Yo,
so.
Lego Indiana Jones is the best game ever, man.
Well, that's a bit out of my comfort
you
zone.
can literally build things.
I thought in oh wait, it was Legos.
Lego
Right.
is basically it's the best.
Is Lego like Minecraft IRL?
In real life?
Yeah. Yikes. That was a bit much.
Legos have bricks and they have wheels. Minecraft is all blocky and you can do stuff on Minecraft that you shouldn't do.
Yeah, like fly.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say something else.
What was that? What's like? What was that?
This
Pockets? Cotton? Plaid? Breeding?
Yeah.
Breeding? You can do that in real life though.
No, yeah, but in the Lego games you can't breed. It's
Sucks.
just Legos.
I guess there's no.
You know what my comfort zone
This
is?
took a different turn.
Someone's skipping through. We're talking about comfort zones. And they're talking about breeding Legos.
It's like skip. What if you're playing this out loud in front of your parents? Skip.
All right. What are we talking about?
You know what?
No,
I'm so glad that we
man.
have an outline because we'd be lost without it. Right now, we're going to be talking about the benefits of leaving the comfort zone, which we're kind of
We
discussing.
kind of talked about it.
But did you have any a few more of them where it's kind of like these are like like if you step out of your comfort zone, here are just the universal benefits of doing so.
Okay, well, there's two. I think earlier I said there were two things.
Right.
First is now not only do you externally, or talking about there's two things, two benefits, external and internal benefits. First, external.
Oh.
Not you gain, say, my friend example, or with another example, like, see, I'll give you another one because I'm just trying to elaborate on how, big for us track was big, but you can go something as like friends, something on a smaller scale. Right. Like, say you're a photographer and you're really like the person that doesn't like to do photos in public. In public, that likes to take photos, like to look at me weird, and all of that.
You don't want to be a stalker.
You don't want to be a stalker. If you're taking photos of yourself, basically, kind of just it's gonna be hard, but starting on a smaller scale, like compared to maybe you start in a small area of a park that isn't too heavily populated, and working your way up to areas that have better scenery but have better people, having that stepping stone.
Right.
An external reward would be that I want a piece because it kind of sounds similar to internal reward. External reward would be that, say, for your career wise, externally things that outside, maybe it's better for your business. If you look at it this way, like you're taking the precautions of defeating your comfort zone, people will start to notice, and the people that will follow you will say, not only better photos for your business that you pass aside with people looking at you, but maybe you'll bring some new clientele that will be like, hey, I just really like, maybe this will happen another way, but maybe they might say as an example, hey, I just really like how you really don't take into too much consideration of how other people are looking. Might look at you when you do your thing. You're just like all in when you take your photos, and that really inspires me to really go out and do what I love, which is similar. Maybe it's photography or art. Yeah. Because not a lot of people these days, and maybe I have some friends that like to stay, take photos and do their work inside instead of being bold enough to take it in an atmosphere where, people pass by. There's a lot of traffic daily, but there's that risk. So maybe, there's different factors that can go. It could be good for your business. Say for your friends, for that external reward for that, you gain more friends, or maybe you gain more, you gain more friends or gain more people, or more insight as to, how to treat. That kind of ties in with internal. Yeah. Maybe you gain more friends, or maybe, hey, external rewards, you don't gain more friends, or you don't gain the right friends, or you don't gain those friends that you were thinking that you wanted to gain, because maybe it turns out that they weren't that cool, they didn't have something going on, and that was a reward. So basically, that's the first thing, external rewards. You guys can hopefully pick that up. If you need more examples, just DM us on our Instagram. Internal reward, though.
Smooth. Whoa.
Yeah, I want to make it so not too elaborate, but if they want more, they have an outlet.
That was nice.
Internal rewards, you prove it to yourself that life is not as scary as your mind really wants you to believe it is.
That's true.
You know, I think it's nothing. This comes from first experience so far. Nothing is as great as of a relief when you pull through something. Maybe it's taking that chance on a new sport, or trying a new elective, or maybe asking that person out to just hang out for a little bit, or going out with these friends. And beforehand, all these events leading up, like what's going to happen. This elective, I'm not going to be good at it. I'm not going to get down with it, or she's going to say no, or even if situations where
she's going to say no,
he or she might say yes or no, or no's. These things, nothing is as great as once you do it, regardless of how it ends up, you think, you know what, that really wasn't that bad.
Like, I'm still here. I'm still okay.
Yeah, like that. Know? I didn't die.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, like if you did die, you won't. No.
Yeah, well, that was just a slight example of what could happen. But in the other thing's better than the feeling of being like, you know what, that wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
And once you realize that it's not the end of the world for putting yourself out there and for something that you would have never thought of doing, that's what we were talking about earlier, where your comfort zone expands a little bit. Maybe you try something new, and I think the more that you kind of shave off a bit of the inner surface of your comfort zone, you'll notice that those small, what do you call those, shavings?
I guess, yeah.
They really add up to, from this over to something as big as that. So what I'm saying is, even though it may not seem big, if you stay consistent with it, and if you kind of stay true to yourself when it comes to how much you try new things, and it's not something super grand scale, if that's too daunting for you, and something a bit tinier, whatever that means to you, just know that adds up to a lot in the long run.
Yeah, it does.
So that's better. That's a huge benefit, is internal and external rewards, is proving yourself wrong, and external rewards. That's pretty obvious. And if you ask me, internal is better than external sometimes.
I would agree. Yeah.
So
but I mean, you're also just gaining a whole lot of confidence over time too. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's probably going to allow you to hold your head up a bit higher, you know, because when you're out of your comfort zone a lot, you're not as I feel like you learn to deal with fear better, generally speaking. I mean,
fear, because you're in that environment.
Yeah, fear doesn't play that big of a factor after a while when you're out of your comfort zone so much, because you're constantly putting yourself in a situation where you might be uncomfortable, where you might be fearful. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just sort of part of it. So when you're for example, you know, in track, if you're on the starting blocks, you're being pretty fearful, you know, in that moment. But I mean, once you start running, that kind of goes away. Fear is kind of like, and it's I mean, this is pretty. I mean, it kind of goes with whatever, not just track. I know we're using it because
that's where we were using track a lot, because that's
what we went through. But I mean, just anytime you put yourself out of your comfort zone, like for example, I applied for a job recently.
Oh yeah, if you guys don't know about that.
And as of right now, I don't know if I'm going to get it or not. Depending on whether I get it, really doesn't matter a whole lot to me in the moment, because either way, it's going to be an experience. I learned to put together a resume and letters of recommendation. I went to go get an interview. I learned how to, you know, speak and present myself in a way that, you know, kind of sells it to other people that, you know, I'm ready to do this job. I can, you know, perform these tasks. And this job, mind you, I've never done anything like it before, right? But I'm putting myself out there. It's a new environment. It's a new environment, you know, totally new to what I'm comfortable with. But I figured I would do it anyways, just to gain the experience of doing so. I mean, just, you know, how many random jobs do you have throughout your lifetime that aren't your main career? But you learn so much from those little jobs that your main career becomes a lot easier.
Because you have nothing to lose either way. Yeah. It goes right, or, you know, you have more knowledge of.
And, you know, if it doesn't fall through, you just try something else. You try again. And you're going to learn how to deal with success, but you're also going to learn how to deal with failure. You can learn how to deal with all these different factors. And in the long run, when you're faced with adversity, or if you're faced with something uncomfortable out of your comfort zone, you're going to know how to respond in a better manner. Because you're like, I've been here, right? I've done this before.
Right. When you don't put yourself in that.
Right.
Shell.
Whereas if you were someone who lived in the comfort zone your whole life, something that might not affect someone that much could affect you fathoms more, right? Because you just don't have that mental toughness or resilience, that you've already gone through this. You've already experienced these feelings and emotions, and, you sort of know what to expect. And that's what instills confidence in people. That's what takes away fear. That's what brings out the best in people when they feel that they can walk into there's no better feeling knowing that you can walk into an environment of which you have no idea what's going to happen with a clear mindset. There's no better feeling than that. Just take it as it comes, and hey, if something goes wrong here, if things don't go my way, I'm just going to respond accordingly. I'm going to adapt, That's sort of how you have to learn to respond to things in life, and there's no better way to gain that knowledge and gain that sort of a kind of an automatic response system than to put yourself in uncomfortable situations, and kind of step out of your comfort zone a little bit.
Like but now that initiative,
I guess now that we've talked about the benefits for a little while, do you want to sort of go into the
how to get out? Or which one?
Oh, that's later. I mean, actually examples of stepping out of the comfort zone.
Oh, okay. Like so kind of like that.
Yeah, like a couple more examples of things that you can do, right, to sort of step out of that comfort zone.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah. So similar. This one we're gonna kind of talk about a mix of what Adrian said and definitive steps you can take to get out of it. Again, like I think general rule of thumb is everything we say on this is kind of for some parts to be taken with a grain of salt, because you can apply most of these in your own way. What we think of getting out of your comfort zone and things like that may apply for us, but then again, these are kind of more so like general guidelines to kind of help you guys as you apply these.
Our main goal here is to basically present you with our perspective, and if it jives with you, great. But I mean, at the very least, we hope that you can look at our perspective and sort of gain something from it, if you can. So that's the main goal here.
I'd say that if we were talking about different kind of like smaller steps to get out of your comfort zone, first realizing that you can't. There's no plain way to say this, but you're gonna die sooner in your comfort zone generally than you are outside of it. So
that's true.
I think I should say like what I think, and then when you want to go with what I think. Okay, so I think what I think to say is I'm going to use someone. I'm just going to say like maybe you're here's an example. Say you're someone working in a business office, and maybe you don't like your boss too much, or you're in a situation where they're really getting on you about hours or workloads or whatever it be,
or you have a difficult professor,
or something like that, or a professor, I'd say this is how you would get over getting out of your comfort zone. I'd say first imagine what is the grandest thing you could do to get out of your comfort zone. For a boss, for someone working, I'm trying to use different examples, but for your boss, I'd march into that room and say, hey, we need to talk. Like, I'm not going to keep up with this. Like, this is not fair. I mean, I understand I work for you, but this is totally unethical of things you're doing, or however it is. That's the grand scale.
Right.
That's the ultimate thing where like I wouldn't even dream of.
So pretty much that is the biggest risk.
Yeah, that's the biggest one. Now, once you have that idea in your mind, just think, okay, let's take that idea and take it a bit smaller. So maybe instead
of marching in there and just like saying, yo, bro.
Maybe going into the guy's office, like saying, what's up? Maybe it depends on how, again, this applies on how you are personally, but maybe start smaller. Like maybe instead of your boss, maybe there's someone who's maybe closer to him, or someone that's right under his power, under the people that work. How do I say power? Or people that ranking people who have
a hierarchy, I guess.
Hierarchy. Yeah. Maybe someone that's below. Thank you. So that's below him in that hierarchy of power, and just going and kind of starting a bit smaller and communicating their needs or your needs or what's going on to someone, and kind of working right. Or maybe it's not even going to someone that's lower in power, I should say, or maybe it's something where maybe you take it up with a family member or an outside friend or a few outside friends or something like that. Basically, I'm kind of applying this. People that are in this position can make it their own. But first, imagine what's the grandest scale you can do,
Right.
and then take it smaller. Take that idea and make it smaller. Like maybe instead of talking to the boss, maybe it's set up a small meeting with someone, you know, below them, and just talk about, have a gentle conversation, just one-on-one, no other people in a meeting. Just say, you know, what's up, and kind of communicate it, and then, you know, make it your own, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think like same thing with professor writing them email like, hey, are you assigning so many assignments, and this is so random, blah, 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 I don't like this. Smaller scale, just
Dangerous.
say, hey professor, you know, make it. I think for us, if I was we're in that situation, I would first like I don't know, because that's never happened before. We're generally good professors, but
I think that, you know,
you can probably build off of that.
yeah, there are some situations where it's like you could take the biggest risk direction, right? But there are also times where you can, like Christian said, look at what the most extreme version of that is and kind of downscale to something more reasonable.
Yeah.
That's still pushing you out of your comfort zone. You're still being challenged, right? You're still growing, but you have that leeway where it's not going to be the end of you, sort of a thing, right? So it could end bad and it could end
You
good.
get fired,
Right. But the world won't implode, you won't drop dead. It's not something like, hey, you know what I've always really wanted to do is just jump off a cliff and see if I make it. Like, that's not
just no,
like, see how, like, let's see how strong human bones really are, sort of thing,
That's
but like
big.
that's a bit
pretty
much.
big.
But you want to make sure that you're working within the boundaries of, you want to look at your limitations and you want to just push a bit past that, because we all know where our limitations lie. We might not like to say that outwardly, but we know what they are. So if you're looking at yourself and you're looking at, okay, these are my boundaries, these are my limits, right? This is how far I'm willing to go, right? Well, whilst being comfortable, take that line and just draw it a bit further out and say, you know what, this is the new line. And you might not like the line, but just make it up in your head. This is the new line. This is the new comfortable, right? And then you're going to do that. And now what's happened? Your comfort zone has just expanded. You keep going outwards and outwards and outwards until, kind of like that weird thing that we did before, your comfort zone in the middle is going to expand
Gradually.
And so bigger. You're going to get to a point where when you're trying to try new things, it's not scary anymore. It's fun, right? Because that's the whole goal, is to make sure that you are not.
That's a good point.
Yeah, the whole goal is not to live in fear your whole life, right? The goal is to become so accustomed to getting out of your comfort zone that it's not uncomfortable, ironically, anymore. It's just sort of your confident personality, right? The goal ultimately of this is confidence. The goal is to be able to look at yourself, say, look, I have some limitations, but I have confidence in myself that I can push past that, right? And at that point, it's not fearful, it's not scary, it's just fun, it's just part of life. You see it in a different light after that. So that's sort of like the optimal goal.
Yeah.
To see it as not something scary and intense, but something that's attainable, challenging, it's fun, it's going to make you better. You see it in a more positive light, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it might not be the best thing in the world, but you'll see it in like the positive category in your life. You'll see it in that good way that you see other things, that you would say are comfortable. So I mean, I feel like, for example, if you and I were to do track again in college, I would feel more comfortable than when we first signed up in freshman year.
Yeah.
And I would call that a success.
I mean, it's more intense, but now that we have like a foundation of what it's sort of like,
and we know that when you know that you can push yourself further and that you can make it, it really is a freeing feeling, because then you don't feel confined to your boundaries. When you live in your comfort zone, you're really just putting yourself in a prison.
Yeah.
That's all you're doing.
A mental prison.
Because no one's telling you that you have to stay in the comfort zone. It's really just you.
Like your own.
Yeah. So people can push you out of the comfort zone, but you have to have the mindset that's going to allow you to, receive it.
Yeah.
Because someone can say, okay, you're running this race. And you can just say, no, I hate it. You can do it, but you can just be like, no, I'm not going to accept the personal growth. Just forget that. That was the worst thing ever. Or you could have the mentality of, okay, that sucked, but, did I become stronger? Did I PR, aka, personal record? That's track talk.
Track lingo.
But like, you want to make sure that when you're in a challenging situation that you're putting yourself in the mindset and having the mentality that even if it's not ideal, you're gonna get the most that you can out of it,
Mm-hmm.
and what you get out of it is gonna help you to move along further in life, essentially, is what this kind of is wrapped up together.
Wow,
I think at least
that was deep.
I could be totally wrong though.
Yeah, we're gonna be totally wrong. We have no
we
idea
could be
what
way off the ball.
how many minutes was this? This is about an hour. We have no idea what we're
but
saying.
we are going to be right back. The camera's going to cut. So right after this, we're going to talk about some of our demographics on this channel.
And
we're
back. And to piggyback, before we talk about demographics, what Adrian said.
Just to sort of like end it off.
Just to piggyback. Oh, yeah. No, okay.
Well, go. Do your thing. Do your thing.
It's best. I don't know. What am I saying? I'm saying it gets easier when you. This is kind of what. And you kind of gave me the foundation for talking about this, but. It's best if you find a way to consistently shave off the layer of, what's that? What were we just talking about? Comfort zones. Have your uncomfort zone.
It wasn't the past 15 minutes.
Because I think the more consistent you are about it, the more you're willing to take new risks. And that's something that you said that remind me. So the more that you stay consistent, the more that when an opportunity arises for you to try something new, the more likely you are to then staying stagnant for a while, like shaving some off, stagnating, than a risk or something changing coming up. I think there you go. You're more likely to take that risk now when you're staying consistent compared to for a while shaving some layers off the comfort zone and staying stagnant for a while. And so I just thought you remind me that staying consistent is a great way to do that.
And I do just want to sort of end off saying that I would implore all of you to obviously take a step out of your comfort zone. But at the same time in life, with most things, there is a balance. And I would just want to say, I don't want to be the cause for anyone's harm. So make sure that when you're pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, that you're not putting yourself in harm's way.
In a way.
Obviously there's a risk, right? In everything, really. But if the chances are high that, you could do something to yourself that you're probably going to regret later,
We mean things that...
Leave that to us.
Well-being. Yeah,
we'll do it for you. We'll post it on the channel.
For you guys. Well, we should have a
We'll
website
where we die for you.
We'll have a website of people that want to do things, and then we'll do those things that are harmful, but tape their name to our shoulders.
I like that idea.
This guy or girl did this.
I dig it.
And then we'll jump off a cliff if you guys want us to.
100 likes and we'll do that.
Yeah, but at least 5 views and we'll do that.
Guaranteed. Easy.
Guaranteed. Easy.
But we did just want to end off this episode though. Thank you guys for listening all this way. If you have sticked this long with us.
Yeah, thank you. You guys are awesome.
Yeah. We're going to go into some of the demographics because I was looking into some of the data and it looks really cool.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I also just want to say thank you guys for 1,000 views on this channel.
Oh, yeah.
We surpassed that a few days ago, and just want to say thank you guys for everyone who tunes in, everyone who listens.
Would not be possible without you. Literally would not.
I mean,
it would not. We can't do that, can we? Can we not make our own accounts? Oh, we can.
Oh wait.
Oh, that's
so we
cool.
could make like 1,000 accounts and just watch our videos.
Oh,
we can do it without you.
Never mind. That's way easier.
We do appreciate all of you guys a lot, even though it doesn't seem like it sometimes. I'm sorry, but
yeah.
Apart from that,
you guys don't have to watch anymore. We're gonna make a bunch of fake accounts.
We're gonna make a we quit YouTube pretty soon. But yeah. So I'm gonna pull this up because it's on my computer.
Yeah, and he's gonna show the demographics of,
and these are the demographics for Spotify. So this isn't YouTube.
People
or
listening
anything.
to Spotify.
Yeah, we don't have enough data on YouTube yet, but we will. Don't worry.
Yeah, we're still MIA on YouTube.
We are crushing it, guys. But so 50% of all of you guys who listen to us, listen to this podcast, are on Spotify. 34% of you are on Overcast, and 16% of you are on Anchor. Now, I did just want to note that we have a sizable audience outside of our own state. So
yeah,
I think this is crazy. So out of all of the people who listen to us, 31% are from California. That makes sense.
Okay.
68% of all of you guys are from Texas.
But more specifically, Dallas.
Smells like freedom. Yeah, California was just getting way too strict for me. Oh, excuse me. Can you pull that up a little bit? Yeah, just like over your nose. Howdy. Yeehaw. Hey, yeehaw. Over your nose? No, over your nose? Dude, I love the rockets. I've always been a fan of space. Where are all the homeless people? Pretty cool statue. Probably have to take it down. Don't ride horses, ride scooters. Yeehaw, howdy, howdy, yee. What's up with this weather? Feels like I'm walking through a wet blanket. There's way too many people in California, so I'm happy to be one of the millions that's moving to Texas. Go Cowboys, Emmitt Smith, woo! I love Travis Scott. Yeah, I'm more of a centrist, actually. Hey, what do you think about replacing high school football with high school yoga? Yo, how much do you think these houses cost?
Like 400,000.
You probably drive those prices up.
Dallas, Texas.
So we were talking about this beforehand. Like, do we know? I'm sorry. I don't think I know anybody from Dallas unless you moved.
Yeah.
But that's pretty crazy.
I have family in Texas, but I don't think any of them know about this podcast.
Probably
so
what they do.
I don't know who you are.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Jared and Jensen.
Jared and Jensen? Who the heck?
Just kidding.
Anyways.
They're actors on the show Supernatural, and they both live in, I think, Dallas, Texas. They both live in Texas. But if they're listening to this. Oh, first off, you guys know that show Supernatural with Jared Padalecki and Jensen Ackles? I love that show. Oh, I told you about that. It reminds me of us.
As the
very
cool
much.
kids would say, does it slap?
Oh, it slaps. It does
Nice.
slap.
Okay.
Yeah, but
yeah.
I don't know anybody from Texas. But thank you guys for watching. And Indonesia, too, right?
Indonesia.
On YouTube, though.
That's on YouTube. Yeah. So,
yeah,
I mean,
Indonesia. Wow.
almost 70% of all of you guys who listen are from Texas. So to all of our Texas listeners,
That's crazy. 68%
shout out to
of
you guys.
More than majority are in Texas than California. You guys are awesome.
Keep
and
rocking out.
California too.
Yeah.
I'm just saying we're surprised that people in Texas are listening to us. So thank you guys. That's pretty awesome.
So
and Dallas,
Texas, keep being Texas. We love you guys.
keep texting.
Wow.
Nah, I'm not good at jokes. Just ignore that.
And then
in the mail.
an interesting demographic here.
Wait. What's the percentage for Texas?
Texas?
68. Okay, I was gonna say
68.
if that was the same as male, like
Oh no.
all the males. Yeah.
Yeah. So 63% of all of you guys who listen are males.
Male.
That kind of makes sense.
38 female.
38% are female. And then the age is 0 to 17 is 13%. 56 of you guys are 18 to 22.
So within our age group.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
13% are 35 to 44, and 19% are 45 to 50.
I'm gonna assume like that
So
those two are like teachers or parents.
maybe, yeah.
And then I don't know who the little kids are. Oh, probably my cousin. Oh, iPhone. It even shows you listening platform. Most of you guys are watching us on here, so computer. Oh no, that'll be what?
No idea.
Okay, never mind.
But hey, we do just want to thank you guys for all of that. We did want to shout out all of our Texas viewers because we appreciate you guys down there. And
it means a lot. Each one of you guys.
It really does.
It does, and I think. Oh man, I still can't believe that we have people in Texas listening.
That's awesome, bro.
If you're in Texas, come on, just smile for me right now. Yeah, smile. If you're not smiling, I still love you. Oh, sorry.
Dang.
That was out of my comfort zone, but see, I learned not to do that anymore.
You made it. But yeah, we do. Before we end this podcast, we do have the verse of the day. So, Christian, you wanna bring that out real quick?
All right, we are going to be talking about Psalm. Wow, that was crack. Psalm 37, 23, 24.
Oh.
And that is,
actually,
the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delighteth in his way. Though he fall, he shall not be utterly cast down, for the Lord upholdeth him with his hand. And it kind of talks about comfort zones. No matter spiritually in this sense, no matter how far you stray or try something new, no matter how far or how little you go outside of your comfort zone, God, in our religious spiritual sense, he's always there. You're never too far from him.
He's got your back.
He's there. God is he's in every zone. You are in God. God's in you. Ooh, wait, isn't there a Bible verse where it's like God is in you, you're in God, or something like that?
I don't want to say it if I don't know the exact verse, but
I say that all the time. Yeah, I misquote Bible verses, but I know that it's there.
Ooh,
that was deep.
The mystery
Mystery
pile's thick.
boys.
But the mystery boys, eh? But yeah, thank you
not too
guys
far.
so much for watching. We hope that this was helpful for some of you. Again, Sophie, these things are the
Dude,
jam.
I'm actually getting. I'm not gonna lie. I'm getting kind of hot right now.
Yeah,
I think I can see the sweat on both of our faces.
but
'Cause
okay, we got that
there's no
freaking
air
light right
conditioning.
there. But
we're wrapping these. Thank you, Sophie, so much.
yeah, these are awesome. I've worn this for the past week straight. I think I might
You
have
never
a bit
took
of
it
a problem.
off. Yeah, there's.
Today
fungus
was the
growing
first
in
day
mine.
that I washed it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was there fungus growing in yours too? There's something living in here now because I haven't watched it.
Do you think it's us?
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Maybe I'm not kidding. I don't know. You know what? I think we both branched out of our comfort zone right now by ending this off on a weird note. That we have fungus in our Jankets.
Jankets.
Ew. Sorry.
This is why we
Restart. Delete this whole podcast. I want to restart. Start from the beginning.
Restart.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Art of Awesomeness podcast.
Wait, hold on. I'm the one who opened this episode. Gosh dang it. Hello everybody, welcome back to the 15th
Hey, guys.
Do it now. We ruined it. That's it. We've died. We failed. Thank you guys for watching this episode. We love you all. And we'll see you next Sunday.
Love you guys. Take care. See you guys next Sunday. Bye.
I love you more.
I love you. No, me too.
No.
Bye.
No.
Bye. And end clip now because I love you more. Bam.
Oh wait, end clip now because I love you more.
Bam.
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 Bam. Bam.
Bam.
Infinity.
Wait, hold on.
Bam. God.
But I'm the one who edits this.
Yeah, but I'm older than you, and my name is Christian, and
Oh, you're right.
I am right.
Yeah.
Mateo